Hi, this is Scott Ware with Radiance Magazine. I'm the publisher and editor of Radiance Magazine and also the Radiance channel on Xpnsion Network. And I have with me today someone very special. Sara Fancy is the proprietor of Silver Horse Retreats. And say hello, Sara.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Scott, for having me.
Absolutely. And so you live and work with your herd of 6 horses, but you also invite us to come live and work with you and your herd of horses, mostly for people in who have some personal crisis, maybe trauma. You support people in reclaiming the truth of who they are while in the presence of horses, and that sounds beautiful. Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Okay, it's more about like staying, not living.
Right.
I mean, people are welcome to come and stay here, and then I basically take care of them I feed them really good food. I give them somewhere really nice to stay. You know, like sometimes it's like a camping kind of situation. But I have a really nice room and a trailer as well that people stay in, and everything is pleasing, rustic, outdoor. It's sunrise, sunset, stars at night, horses. You can smell them, you can hear them at night. It's very quiet and tranquil, and there's no concrete here at all.
Well, and just to let people know where you are, so you're an hour and a half from San Diego. You're about, I guess, an hour and a half or more from Orange County, LA. When you get to Temecula, it's still another hour and a quarter into the mountains. And so, your cell phone's not going to work well. There's not much running water. And it sounds like a beautiful place. What's that?
We have running water. We have a well. We have really great water. Lots of water here.
Oh, good. Well water. Excellent. Okay.
Yeah, well
water. Okay. And it's just a great place to just get away from it all, let everything go, the things that are hanging on to you, the stresses and everything, and particularly people with some form of trauma. What is unique about working with horses in this regard?
Well, first of all, horses uplift us. I mean, I pretty much feel that everybody loves horses, and unless they're kind of scared of them or have had an experience with them where they got injured or something. And I love reconnecting people to horses as well so that they can overcome those fears, because once you get to know horses, you realize that they're the ones who have reason to be terrified of us. They're prey animals. They're like massive birds. That's how I see them.
Massive birds. I've never heard horses described that way. That's interesting.
Well, you can scare them really easily, just by like a movement that you're completely unconscious of, or even the way you walk.
Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. And these horses, so these are rescue horses, right? Nobody's riding these horses, but they're just being with them. You have some things where you're having people dance with them even, is that right?
Yeah, I'm all about working with horses on the ground. I'm not promoting recreational riding, things like that. It's not really like interesting to me, because a lot of the times these horses have been injured in that way. And
sure.
A lot of the reasons why horses are no longer wanted and end up at the feedlot and end up in slaughter is because they got injured, and then they can no longer be ridden. So people generally don't want horses that are not rideable. And so my emphasis is that horses are really valuable. They have so much value, and that it's not about us like getting our rocks off, I mean, or like satisfying our own needs, at the expense of the horse, So my whole philosophy is about like meeting horses in a way that's reciprocal, and like understanding them and their nature and their instincts. And their instinct is to bond. They're herd animals. They want to join. And they're all about community and balance. And
but it's got to be, isn't it right that it's got to be at that higher vibration? They'll join with you or let you join the herd as long as you can raise your vibration to where they are.
Yeah, they got to trust you. you know.
Hmm.
So they have, because we're predators, you know, and they're prey, right? So that's the bottom line. So we got to have them trust us. So how do we
Yeah.
do that? You know, we do that by showing them, by showing them that we're transparent, that we're not concealing anything, we're not
And that
hiding.
requires vulnerability on our part.
Exactly. Yeah. And that we don't have ulterior motives. You know, most of the times when people meet a horse, they reach out to grab them, like they want to touch them. And horses, like 9 times out of 10, are going to pull their head away. So what does that
Yes.
say? That says, no, I don't want you to do that. I mean, it's so basic, but people
Right.
don't listen. And then they clamber all over them and they want something from the horse, right?
Mm.
And, and the horses feel that. That's pressure. So the horses are sensitive to pressure, physical, mental, emotional. They feel all of that,
And
you know.
when you facilitate them working with people, do you feel like that is something they enjoy doing and that even gives them purpose?
Yeah, so I want to really be clear that, like, I don't bribe my horses. I don't train them, you know, to act a certain way around people.
Hmm.
It's completely their choice. They can come over or they can stay away, you know.
Right.
And I've been accused of, like, you trained your horse to do that. And I'm like, no, I didn't. You know, this is like, this is how they respond to us with our fluctuations in our energy, our thoughts, you know, they respond to all of that. It's so
Sure.
subtle and so powerful. And when people like realize how tuned in horses are, it blows their mind. It blows their
That
mind.
yeah, they're really reflecting us, our energy from inside.
Yeah, and like our motive on the inside, like, why do we want the horse to do that? Why are we so invested in that? Because we want to prove ourselves in some kind of way. You know, we want
Mm.
to show that we're so lovable or something, you know. That's for us to work out, not for the horse to work that out for us, you know.
Right. So they don't let us off the hook. We it's not like a golden retriever who, whatever your energy
Yeah,
is going to be jumping
exactly.
all over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They're not like dogs, you know. Like, you can call a horse, they know their names. My horses know when I'm thinking about them, they know when I'm talking about them. It's all ears, you know. You can,
Right, right.
ears and the movement of the head and the swish of the tail, that's all communicating, right? And when you drop in and you like, you can feel, you can become the herd and you can like be in that communication. It's incredible. It changes the way that people relate to horses. Like, when I explain that, you know, when you go to a place and you go horse riding, those horses are like zombies. They get pulled out with those torture devices in their mouth. A bit is basically a torture device. It creates pain. And people that are new to horses yank on them. It's a very sensitive area in their mouth.
Yeah.
And they're kicked out. And like, horses get kicked so hard with spurs that they bleed. I mean, it's disgusting, you know, how people treat horses. And
Well,
after, you know, like after like being with me for a while, like people think about that stuff and they think like maybe they don't want to like be on a horse for a joyride because that horse is like a slave. It's like a zombie, you know?
well, you've mentioned that horses that they what your work you do with them changes people's relationship to horses, but it sounds like in the interaction they have, whether they spend a few days there or longer, is that it changes the relationship with how they deal with themselves because they've been shown some things at a level that's different than hearing a therapist or someone else tell you, but you felt it through the interaction with the horse.
Exactly. It's physiological and it's visceral, you know, and it's like you cannot make this stuff up. I mean, stuff happens that is like crazy, right? I mean, and it's laughable because it's so kind of absurd, but it happens and it's undeniable. And like,
So
I love that. I love that, you know, and like, I'm constantly surprised by them and the way they show up for people.
can you talk about that? What are some ways they show up to people that you've noticed? Share that with us.
Well, I'll just give one example. This was, I don't know, this was in a constellation that I was doing, and I was um, doing the 4 directions, all right? And we had people for 3 of the directions and no one for the north. And so I put a rock there. I said, don't worry, something's going to come in and represent that. So one of my horses walks over, she stands right on that rock, and she holds that position for the entire session, which is 20 more minutes. Doesn't
Wow.
move. So she anchored into the north, you know, and she held it. And like, I mean, I don't know. Just
That's
things
amazing.
like
And
that, you know, like where
yeah,
they show up and they just like, they offer themselves in that way. Like, you know, I'll do that. I can do that, you know. And they
that's amazing.
also will like give you, I think Michelle was talking about, you know, being, when she's angry or something or upset, she thinks the horses won't come to her, but that's not entirely true.
Mm.
The real thing is about like, can you really be in your feelings? Can you like, if you're angry and you say, like, I'm really angry right now, or I'm really frustrated, the horse might come over and go like, hell yeah, you know, or like,
Ah,
do you see what I'm saying? Because you're
so
being real.
you're not in denial.
Exactly. You're not like feeling ashamed of being angry. Like if you're
Mm.
ashamed about how you feel, that's like kind of not being like fully congruent, fully like
Yes.
moving your energy, because there's a resistance there, right? So the horses sense that. They're all about like, are you gonna eat me? Are you gonna, you know, am I safe with you, around you?
Right.
Are you gonna actually be safe with, can I be safe with you so that you can be my leader?
So I know that you do dancing with horses. You let people be with them and just see what happens. But you actually have a modality that's very interesting and rare. That's called horse constellations.
Yeah.
Just to briefly talk about constellations, that's a practice where we'll have other people represent family members,
Yeah.
particularly around a particular issue. They'll represent them and sort of intuit what they might say, and you get to watch almost like a play of your life or of this situation play out in front of you, which is very powerful. But you've added the extra element of having the horses participate, which they know to do intuitively, whether it means stepping on the rock, like you said, or even nudging somebody. Isn't that right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, they just like come over. I'm trained in energy medicine, so I'm sensitive to shifts in energy, and I feel like the horses do that too, and
Sure.
they're responding to the changes in someone. And so that exercise where I talked about the palpating, where you're sensing and you're feeling and you're receiving information, they feel safe around that
Now
because
you mentioned, go ahead.
you're not invading, you know. Go ahead.
Just to mention, think we should mention at this point, we did an interview on the radio. I was a co-host of Awakening Code Radio. You mentioned Michelle from there and also the palpating. Why don't you, Michelle was my co-host. Why don't you mention what palpating is? That's very interesting.
Okay, so palpating I learned in polarity healing art school, like I don't know, 20 years ago or something. But it's a great tool. It's basically listening with your hands and sensing and feeling the aura around things like
Mm.
people, animals, rocks. I mean, pretty much everything has an auric field, yeah.
Yeah,
And so, like feeling where the edge of it is, feeling the texture, feeling if there's moisture or heat, and just tuning in, and then using your body as a way to like sense, you know, to receive the sensations, and then like you start dropping in, right? And then you're
yeah.
listening, and people and animals, they want to be listened to. Like it's a really wonderful way to connect. It's through listening, you know.
I'm wondering if horses in general are also energy healers, or if yours are more so because of the work you do with people.
I feel that like they're used to it, they're experienced, you know. But like I've worked with different horses from everywhere, and they all have this ability, except if they're traumatized. You know, this really doesn't work with a traumatized horse, especially if they've been traumatized by humans.
Yes,
They
of
don't want
course.
anything to do with people,
Right.
and they really have nothing to offer. You know, they need help. Those horses need to be
Yeah.
rehabilitated.
But your horses are great for this. And
Yeah, it
mm,
took time though. Like one horse, I spent 2 years rehabilitating before she even wanted to do it. You know, she was ready. And another horse, about a year before she was
mhm.
ready to participate. And then when she did, Oh, wow. It was such a moment for me to watch her with this lady.
Yeah.
I have them in the constellations, I have them draw circles in the sand and stand in them. And these circles represent things like how you want to feel, or like how you would like your life to be, you know, sort of whatever. And so it's a container for that. And so when the person stands in that and then they start feeling in their body, like, how does this feel in my body? And how am I, you know, what are the sensations?
Right.
Then Mayhe, the name of the horse, she comes over and stands in the circle with the lady for like, 15 minutes, standing there, like close. And this is a horse that wanted nothing to do with people, nothing. She arrived here really abused, almost dead because of people, And there she is, a year later, offering herself in that way and really empowering this woman to like stand in her power,
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then that I watched that and I think it's all worth it. To me, that makes
Yep,
everything worth it.
I agree. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you actually also allow people to come train with you and you mentor them. How does that work?
Yeah, I have mentorship. I have a mentorship program, and I have mentees that have done my program. And one of my mentees, she's called Matisse Williams. She's in upstate New York in Hudson Valley. And I'm actually going to be there in May, at the end of May, with her. And I'm doing a 5-day training with her horses. And she was with me at the beginning. Like, I helped her get her horses and set up her place. And she learned the constellation work from me. And, and now she's doing it. I'm really proud of her. Like, she's awesome.
That's great.
And yeah. And so I'm going to be doing a training there. And I'm also doing a training here on site. It's a 5-day constellation training, and basically it's the things, like I include the palpating, I show simple exercises that can be done, with or without horses. Like I was saying, like having designated areas, using things from the environment like rocks, sticks, like things to mark, territory, stuff like that. And it's very somatic. It's like dropping into your body. What do you sense? How do you feel? And that's when the information starts coming in. And then the horses just add to it,
Well, the people can reach you on this at silverhorse.org
Yes.
or silverhorseretreat.us.
No, .com.
.com. I said US before, that's right.
Yeah.
So silverhorseretreat.com.
That's correct, yeah.
And so, and as far as people, I mean, people can stay with you for 2 or 3 days or as long as 5. And I understand they have the option of either camping out or staying at a bed and breakfast nearby. Is that right?
Yes, there's like really great Airbnbs, like really close by. And so people have the option of, if they don't have a car, they could go there and just walk here. And I can do food so that people don't have to worry about like going to the store. We're kind of remote, so we're like a ways away from anywhere, really, like a store and stuff.
Right.
So yeah, I start with private sessions, which is half a day. And I also do remote sessions, which obviously is not with the horses, but I'm doing the family constellation. I'm doing constellation work. I'm using everything I learned from the horses as far as sensing to be able to track and pay someone on the phone. So I can basically like merge with someone and feel like everything that's going on with them and gently guide them into a place,
They can get your phone number from the website to do that. That's amazing.
Yeah. So
okay.
So I start with remote sessions, and then it's half-day sessions, and then it's half-day camp over, and then a 24-hour crisis one, unplug, where you give me your phone, you go meditate with the horses.
Yeah.
To start with, then we do some work, then we have some great food, or I can even do a cleanse with people if they want to do that in 24 hours. That's usually good for people in LA that don't have a lot of time.
Sure.
And they want to get away, unplug, get away.
All right. Well, thank you for doing this interview. Sarah, people can reach you at silverhorse.org or silverhorseretreat.com.
That's correct.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Thanks,
All right.
Scott. Thanks so much.
Thank you, everybody, for watching.